Anyone who follows prison history knows this place. It's the famous Alctraza prison. The entire prison sits on an isolated island. It's surrounded by freezing cold seawater. Inside, it's all reinforced concrete buildings and steel cages. Even in these extreme conditions, 3 inmates actually pulled off a successful escape. Let's take a look at how they did it. Alcatraz is about 1,640 feet long and 590 feet wide. Various facilities were built on top of it. The most important one is this prison at the very top. The whole prison is about 425 feet long and has 3 floors. When we open up the top of the prison, you can see something interesting. The entire prison is divided into 3 sections. The building on the right is the dining hall and the hospital used for treatment. The building on the left is the administrative area used for staff offices. The middle section is the main block where prisoners are held. Let's focus on this part. The main block is divided into 4 areas: A, B, C, and D. Each area is then divided into 3 floors. Inside, there are a total of 504 cells. Each cell can only hold 1 prisoner at a time. The cells are only about 5 feet wide and 9 feet long. The inside of the cell is extremely bare. There's only a single bed and a sink with cold water. There's also a toilet and 2 small desks. Down here, there's also a ventilation duct. And it was this ventilation duct that left a fatal weakness for the escape. Among the 4 areas, the most special one is Block D here. It's separated from the other areas by a concrete wall. Inside, there are 42 cells. It was mainly used for punishing and isolating prisoners. At the very bottom, there are also 6 different cells. When the cell door is closed, no sunlight can reach inside. Prisoners here live in total darkness. Some people stayed in solitary confinement for months at a time. When these vanished men suddenly came back, it would cause a huge psychological shock to the other prisoners. Below the cells in each area, there's also a basement. Inside are the shower rooms where prisoners washed up. Prisoners had to shower twice a week. To prevent their bodies from adapting to the cold seawater during an escape, the water temperature for the prisoners' showers was deliberately kept fairly warm. When it came to managing the prisoners, the prison would count them more than a dozen times a day. This was to make sure every prisoner was still inside. On the concrete outer walls of the prison, all the windows and openings were reinforced with tamper-proof steel bars. Metal detectors were installed in the key areas of the prison. They prevented anyone from carrying metal objects. Inside the cafeteria, remote-controlled tear gas was installed. This prevented prisoners from rioting. Across from the cells in each area, there was a fenced-to-patrol walkway. Fully armed guards would patrol here. They monitored every movement inside the prison. Outside the prison, right here, there was also a yard where prisoners got some fresh air. The entire yard was surrounded by a 20-foot-high reinforced concrete wall. On top of the concrete wall, fences and barbed wire were also added. At the same time, a walkway was built along the outside of the concrete wall. Whenever prisoners came out for fresh air, the guards would patrol here. Around the perimeter of the prison, many watchtowers stood as well. The soldiers up there carried rifles and kept strict watch. But compared to the reinforced concrete and armed control, what really made escape feel hopeless was the seawater. Alcatraz prison stood alone out in the ocean. The seawater here had strong currents and low temperatures. The shore was over a mile away, so escaping from here was almost impossible. But 3 prisoners just refused to believe it. Through their own observation, they noticed a problem. Alcatraz used seawater to flush the toilets. The pipes connected to the toilets had gone unrepaired for ages. This caused seawater to seep from the pipes into the walls. The particles in the concrete wall soaked up the seawater. They started swelling like a sponge, and they pushed cracks out of the walls. Eventually, the steel rebar rusted and expanded. This made the concrete break apart even more. After 30 years of corrosion, the once impenetrable walls had become incredibly fragile. A single spoon could easily scrape the concrete open. These 3 men used homemade tools to secretly widen the ventilation opening. And they used matching cardboard to cover up the wall. Then, on the night of June 11th, 1962, after the head count, they removed the cardboard covering. They went through the vent to the back of the cells. There was an unguarded common corridor. Meanwhile, on the beds in their cells, these 3 used toilet paper and real human hair to make dummy heads and placed them on their pillows. When the guards patrolled again, they really didn't notice these were fakes. Once the 3 men got out, they followed the pipes along the wall and climbed straight up to the prison's top floor. Here they found more than 50 raincoats. They made a simple life raft. Then, along the rooftop, they climbed down the pipes, and they successfully reached the shore. Although we can't confirm whether the 3 made it safely to the other side, one thing is certain: the 3 men were never heard from again.